Oh.
Like I was saying before, most guys believe that they don't need game, but everyone needs game. Because what happens is, again, over a period of time, you're gonna become complacent. Over a period of time, the female is gonna display certain characteristics that maybe you dislike, and you're gonna, over a period of time, you're gonna start to compromise. You're gonna allow this thing to slide. You're not gonna check her. You're not gonna do certain things, and you're gonna just, it's gonna build and it's gonna escalate, and the her attraction level is gonna go down and down and down, and her despising you or hating you is gonna snowball, and it's gonna become bigger and bigger and bigger, and that is what is gonna happen when you think that you no longer need game, and that is what happened to me. Like I was saying again, I know a particular guy. He was born, and his mom abandoned him from a very young age. And because of this abandonment issue, he also grew up, and he had emotional detachment issues. And so, because he had this emotional detachment issues, he was not able to attach to women and love them the way a normal person would, because he had issues from his parents, his mom leaving him, and that is what actually gave him the don't care attitude towards women. And believe it or not, that is the most one of the most attractive traits that a man could have, when he has the attitude of take it or leave it. You could come or you could go or you could stay. I know it sounds harsh, it sounds cruel, but again, this is game. This channel is not, or not this channel, but this information that I'm delivering is not for the faint-hearted. This is not for the blue pill. The blue pills, this is for you guys, especially for you guys, because it is you guys are the ones who are usually hurt because of actually having misconceptions about women, having false beliefs, and believing that women are a certain way, and then later down the line you get your feelings so you're ready to jump off the cliff because she did this or she did that, or she left you for a higher value man or something of that sort. And it's because of being the blue pill, you guys did not believe that she would actually do the things that she did. So this information again is not necessarily only for blue pill. This is for all pills: red pill, blue pill, purple pill. Just to get you to understand, game is mandatory. Game is a full-time job. That is why I said earlier, the choosing process does not stop. The woman chooses you every day she is with you, and the longer she is with you, the longer you have to maintain the game. And again, however, the game should, over a period of time, does not have to be something that you do, but you have to become, the game has to become what you are. You have to embody the game. You have to become an individual, that the game is a lifestyle, a way of life. Again, that's what I was saying. When I was at my peak, women felt that I was attracting women. Women felt that they knew that this guy had other women. That is why, like I said, four is a good number, a four rotation, but it's a lot of work to have four women. That is why some men who have reached the pinnacle of game, four. The reason I said four, I'm not saying four is mandatory per se. The reason I'm saying four, because in the game there's a saying, three three holes is too close to one. Sorry, my bad. Three holes is too close to two, and two is too close to one, and one is too close to none. That is why I said four, because three is too close to two, and two is too close to one, and one is too close to none. So the game that I'm spitting definitely is not for someone who wants to be one. Now, if you want to be a purple pill, you could have one, but you still have to actually have game. You still have to have purpose. You still have to follow all of the things that most alpha males or all alpha males actually do. So with that being said, having the understanding as game is something that helps you to satisfy that hypergamy, because no matter what you think you have, no matter how you think you look, hypergamy will not be met and not be satisfied if you actually fall short in one or two areas and you consistently fumble in those areas. The woman eventually will lose interest. She eventually will move on, because hypergamy is a feeling. A woman needs to feel that you are her best option. Women date up, they do not date down. And that is why, again, I'm saying that you need game, because what is going to happen over a period of time is that most men who are actually rejected by women, who get rejected by women, these men tend to feel bad, when they hear, guys like me or other dating coaches, when they talk about men being the prize and men being above women and things of that sort, and women not being qualified. It sounds kind of chauvinistic, you know what I'm saying? And to say a woman may be beneath you, it sounds really bad and it doesn't sound good technically on paper. But in reality, what men fail to realize is that women do this all day and every day. Women actually disqualify men every second of the day. And you wonder why, how they are able to do it. They do it with such ease and such grace. If you ever walk down the street, and this is a big lesson, what I'm about to tell you guys, this game right now, I'm going to tell you right now, is priceless. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm not going to charge you guys $9.99 for this game. This game is priceless. But when you see a woman down the street and you try to talk to this girl and she actually rejects you, that is just an indication that she does not like you. So again, I'm telling you guys a big secret here. When you try to pull up on a girl and a girl rejects you in the mall or wherever it may be, walking down the street or whatever, cold approach, that is because you, to her, you do not meet her standards. She feels above you. She feels that you are beneath her. You do not satisfy her hypergamy in one shape, form, or another. You do not have the looks. You do not meet the standards, the minimum requirement. You're not tall enough. You're not groomed enough. You're not sparkly, shiny enough. There's something that you fell short in, and that is why she dissed you. So, for example, when you guys go and you look at the movies, not the movie, those gold digger shows, the gold, it's so funny, the guys who stand on the side of the road and they try to pull girls over, the gold digger pranks, and you see that the women actually, how they respond to those guys, they actually just, in most cases, some of the women don't even stop. Some cases they do stop, but in most cases, the woman just keeps moving on. She moves on, and she doesn't even give the guy a chance. She doesn't even give the guy nothing, a look, a smile. She says, "Oh, I'm busy," some type of thing. She just pretty much rejects the guy and she moves on. But then when the guy walks away and she hears the car starts, or she looks around and she sees the car, then she kind of, decides to turn back. That is hypergamy, you see? And if you look at some of those guys, all of those guys are not even bad-looking guys. Some of those guys are actually well-dressed. Some of those guys are actually attractive guys. Some of those guys, are tall. Some of the guys have on jewelry. Some don't have on jewelry. Some tend to minimize their appearance and not be too flashy. They might have on a work attire or something of that sort. But that simply proves my point. Before the guy showed his car, the woman hypergamy was not met. It was not satisfied. But after she saw the car, her hypergamy was satisfied, because then she felt like the man was above her. But before then, she felt like the man was beneath her. So when you hear me say something about women need to be beneath you in order, at least they need to feel like they are beneath you in order for her hypergamy to be met. I'm not saying as a human being she's beneath you. I am specifically talking about hypergamy here. As a human being, we are all equal human beings. But in the dating game, women need to feel like a man is above them in one shape or form or another. That is why the woman would actually date you. If she feels that there is no advantage to dating you, she feels that she's not going to benefit from dating you, she feels that there's not going to be any something coming in her life going to make her life better, she is not going to date you, or she's not going to give you a chance. But what happens is, when those girls see the car, they automatically feel, now they feel like, okay, this guy has this car, so he must make more money than me, so her hypergamy is satisfied. Maybe he has his car, he has a lot of status, he's a rapper or something, a football player or something, so hypergamy is met. Because now he has this car, that means he must be someone, he must be famous or something, so hypergamy is met. her hypergamy is satisfied. But if you look at again before the guys before the lady saw their car, her hypergamy was not satisfied. She did not give those guys a chance. And so most women would say, oh, I'm not that type of way. I'm not a gold digger. I'm not gonna, I wouldn't go back because of no car or something of that sort. Yes, you will do it. You just do not do it for cars. If a guy comes up to you and he is too short, you will reject him just like that. If a guy comes up to you and you don't think he's attractive enough, you will reject him just like that. It might not be for a car, but you diss men all day, every day. Even a true player like me from the Himalayas, I've been dissed at least 10 billion times because I've at least approached at least 10 trillion women. You understand me? So I've had my share of being dissed. I've had my share of being rejected because I have approached so many women. That is why you need to develop thin skin, you need to develop game, and you need to chalk it up to the game, and let's call it a loss, and keep moving, keep pushing, and on to another one. It's a numbers game, and so forth and so forth. But again, like I said, I have been rejected at least 10 million times, but I've tried to attempt at least 10 trillion girls. So with that being said, all women who diss and reject you, the number one reason is because they do not see any value in you. I hate to say it and they be cruel and sound that way. They think that you are beneath them. So it sounds bad when I say it, when I say that a woman needs to feel like she needs to be beneath you in order to be attracted to you. It sounds bad. However, women do it all day and every day. They reject man solely on the fact that the woman feels that the man does not add any value to her life. She feels that the man is going to be useless, is going to be of no service or no financial gain or something of that sort. She believes that you are beneath her. If you are a guy and you pull up on a girl who looks like roly-poly Oli, you understand me? You pull up on a girl right now who looks like Fiona from Shrek. And if that woman, because her head is so inflated, so now that's why you guys should go and watch my video, how to attract women. That's another video talking about why women, oh, sorry, not how to attract women. Go and watch the video, Women Are Delusional. Go and check it out. So again, if you pull up on a girl, look like roly-poly, you understand me? And a girl look like Fiona from Shrek, and you, for some reason, you came on in a certain way, or you look a certain way, that bitch will reject you. You know what I'm saying? Where they do that at, like they say, and I say where they do that everywhere. I am sure every man is being rejected from a woman who he felt was less than him, and that woman actually did not give him a chance. I am sure every man, even handsome men who are 6'9" and whoever, I'm sure every man on the planet has been rejected from a woman who has actually not met, who has not met the standards or the minimum requirements, but somehow he just decided to approach the female for whatever reason. He approached the female and he got rejected. I am sure thousands of men have got rejected from women that they thought was less, but for some reason they approached a girl, and it happened to me over and over and over. Every time I go and approach a girl and my heart is not in it, and I just do it because, maybe she might look good or something, but I really didn't really want to do it. It's just greed or practice, or I was trying to run game or something. I just do it anyhow, but my heart was really not in it. I didn't really have a real attraction to the girl. In most of those cases, I got rejected. Now, when my heart is in it and I really feel something for the girl and so forth, in most cases, there is success because I give off a different vibration. When you actually feel something real, something tangible, you see something, the girl moves you in some kind of way, something that you actually like about the girl, you could actually pull up on a girl and be more genuine. But when you just see an attractive girl and you try to talk to her just for talking's sake, and you don't really care, your heart is not in it, what I'm saying, you give off a vibration of energy that's false, that's fake, she could reject you as well. And for example, something ran across my mind is now, Miles Cunningham said something really powerful in one of his videos. He said that you first, and actually it was that concept actually helped me to really to choose more differently when it comes down to women. And if you guys watch my video, how to attract women, I gave a shout out to all the guys who the two players from the Himalayas, some of the guys who I felt, contributed to my game as well. Because we all need to be laced at some point in time. We could always learn something from someone. No one has all the game, in the world that, they can't really learn something from another player as well. But anyhow, back to Mr. Cunningham. Miles Cunningham said that, in order to get a girl or you want to sleep with a girl or whatever, you first have to see yourself in the girl before you see yourself in the girl. And I know that sounds like a conundrum. You first have to see yourself in the girl before you see yourself in the girl. And at first it sounds like I said, it's kind of like, sounds kind of a little crazy. But if you have the game and you have the understanding, what he was saying is that you first have to see yourself in the girl. You have to look at the girl and do you see any characteristics that this girl possesses that you think you have, or does she look like you in any way? Do you see something about her that reminds you of you? Do you see something? So, for example, when I pull up on some girls, some girls might be, say, for example, extremely beautiful, extremely sexy, extremely, feminine looking. And then when I pull up on these girls, sometimes, based because I don't see anything in this girl that reminds me of me. She might be a pure corporate woman, something of that sort. But if you look at my image, you could see I'm kind of more of a natural guy, more of a, a bohemian type of thing, more, earthy, more natural. I do wear jewels at times, and I do spruce up my style and wear jackets and blazers and suits and things of the sort when it calls for that. I do change my style up as well. However, but normally I would just be on a more, neutral scale. So looking at a corporate executive woman with a suit on, I don't really see myself in that woman. So, you first have to see yourself in the woman. So when I used to go and just approach women, just because they look a certain way, I used to approach them, but I did not realize that, they were looking at me the same way. Do they see themselves in me? And I don't look that way. So therefore, a lot of these women, they might like certain things about me. They might like even a certain look or whatever, but certain things about me may not necessarily cut it. They might more so want a more clean cut guy, a more shaven guy, a guy does not carry a stigma of a particular ethnicity or a particular belief system or something of that sort. I've been rejected even because of my image. Some women look at me and they associate me with some particular religion or belief, and they class me with the whole crew, not understanding that I am my own and I am on my own, and what I'm saying, that's why I said I'm an exceptionalist. But these women actually would reject me because they classify me with a particular group of religious people, and they would say, oh, you was one of them, you was one of those guys, and you were like this and you were like that. And they don't know jack about me. They don't know who I am. They don't know what I'm about. They don't know where I've been. They don't know how much money I have. They don't know my principles. They don't know anything about me, but they tend to label me automatically. And I've lost women because of just my image alone. However, that is what I'm saying. Some corporate women might feel like I don't fit into their agenda. But however, when I see some women, they might have a more natural hairstyle. Some women might have, I'm just saying, some women might have tattoos. Some women might have some piercings. Some women might have a natural hairstyle, not just locks, but more, natural, not so much superficial. Some of the women might not be so heavy into cosmetics, certain things of the sort. Women who might be naturally beautiful, women who are naturally sexy, women who are not so much heavily into the material things. Some of the women who might want more knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, like Eve, who are willing to give it all up to learn. Some of the women who might want to become more disciplined. Women want a man who could maybe lead them, instruct them, and bless them with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and guidance, and so forth and so forth. That's the type of woman I attract. But usually, if it's usually a superficial woman who has kind of superficial beliefs and needs and wants, usually that is not the case. So again, after learning this concept from Miles Cunningham, I tend to, before I just go and wildly approach because of basically how a woman looks. If a woman has a particular look, she might be attractive or she may be pretty. Now I tend to like hold back and say, oh, let me see how this woman really looks. Do we actually look like she would, does she look like she would go for a guy that looks like me? And you can't really say for a fact what a woman would go for. However, I tend to now look at, do I see myself in this girl? Do I see anything that this girl, how she looks or how she carries herself, do I see myself in her before I actually see myself in her sexually? And that was the message that Mr. Miles Cunningham was saying. And I'm suggesting that you guys just don't go and fire and shoot at anything. Actually take a look at the woman clearly, carefully, and see if there's something that maybe you are actually physically attracted to. You maybe do see, yourself being with a type of woman like this, and look and see if she might be interested in being with a type of guy like you as well. Because you might be a guy, you might be a thug life looking guy, tats and whatever the case may be, and just all tuggish. Yes, she might find you to be sexually attractive. She might sleep with you or whatever the case may be. She might even bless you with some paper. She might even bless you with some gifts and so forth. However, now when the time comes down to having a Christmas party, a work party, or something of that sort, she might not necessarily want to bring you along. And that is what I'm saying. So a woman could, in cases, go out of a natural standards, or go out of the way and date a man that may not be her type, if I may say, and she might pick a man, because she feels something. That is why I said women go off feeling. So when she see you, she might feel something, and then, so you might not have to actually look the part, but she may feel a certain way, and you still stand a chance, whether she be a corporate woman or not. But however, a certain woman has a certain type of standard or a certain feel that she's going for, and so she will most likely not date you if you have a particular look that does not meet her particular minimum standard of her parents, because she has to take you to her parents, she has to take you around her work colleagues and different things of that sort. And the higher caliber of the woman, you have to meet a certain appearance as well. You cannot go to the family, to the law firm, wearing jumpers and basketball jerseys and things like that, when all her colleagues wear suits and ties. You have to be a man flexible enough to wear suits and ties as well. So back to what I was saying. So women diss men all day because they feel that men are not qualified, men do not meet their minimum standards, men are beneath them. So it is not harsh or cruel for me to say that that is the way men need to look at women as well. Men need to develop the eyes of women. They need to see through the eyes of women and see women just how they see you. The same way they could look at you and disqualify you because you do not meet the certain standards, you have to be able to look at them and disqualify them because they do not meet the certain standards as well. The same way a woman can disqualify you because she feels that you are beneath her, it is fair, equally fair, for you to disqualify her because she's beneath you as well. And unfortunately, the only way that a woman will be attracted to you is if she feels beneath you in some way, shape, or form. The only way, again, most women, they do not date down. They do not date down, they date up. Either a woman she will date a man on the same level as her, and she still is, for some reason, might not be happy with that. She thinks that you need to step your game up at some point and go a little bit further and make more money than her. Even if you make the same amount of money, she still wants you to make more than her. She may date a man on the same level as her, but she really would for a man on a higher level than her in all aspects, a man that she can look up to, but she will settle for a man that's on her level. And if she really feels something for you, if she really, really, really feels something for you, and you move her in some way, shape, or form, she will lower her standards and just go just a little below her standards and find a man that's just low, just a little beneath her, or has the potential, or she see a strong potential in you to rise to the top and take her over. You might be in college and you might be about to get your scholarship from one of the big teams. The Lakers might be able to call you, the Bulls might call you, or something of that sort. She see that potential in you, and so therefore she will actually still choose upon you and give you the chance because you have the potential to outrank her in some field sooner or later. Again, if you are beneath the woman, maybe, not too far behind, she may be willing to, put in a little work to help you to get up to a standard or above, but you still have to show the potential. A woman who is a 9, a 8, a 9, a 10, she's not going to go down to a 2. She maybe might go to a workable 7. She might, that's a big might, if you have all of the natural traits, you have natural characteristics, a certain height, a certain potential, a certain jawline, a certain wood, something of that sort. You have, you might be in college finishing up your degree, your PhD or your bachelor's or your master's or whatever, and she knows that just a matter of time before you get the particular job because you maybe came from an influential family, and she just knows a matter of time before you inherit this money or something of that sort, then she would take the risk, but in most cases, she will not. So again, in most cases, she will not go to that level. She will not stoop to that level to actually uh, go too far from where she actually is on the sexual market value. So that is why, again, the game is imperative, because what the game is going to do, the game is going to give you the skills and the tools and the ability to raise your SMV value as you're getting your papers together, as you're working on your fitness, as you're working on your parents, as you're working on these things. Naturally, the game, your attraction is going to be something that is going to be like just putting one foot in the door. That is all your looks is going to do. Again, I don't care how you look. You could look like Fabio, Fabio times 10. You could look like, Brad Pitt in Fight Club. You could look like, I don't care who else, you could look like Tyson Beckford in his prime. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't really make a difference what you look like. If you do not have game, hypergamy will not be satisfied, because there are a lot of men, if you look out through history, men that are extremely attractive, physical man, but physically attractive, their wives have left them, their girlfriend have left them. There are stars, movie stars, rappers, and so forth, who have had thousands, millions of dollars, jewels, houses, and the list goes on, and their women have left them for some one reason or another. Just because you are a star, that does not mean you have game. Just because you have looks does not mean that you have game. Just because you have sex appeal does not mean you have game. Again, this video is titled, Why and Who Needs Game? So, or who and why needs game? That's what I'm saying. It doesn't make a difference how much money you have. Without game, you still run the risk of not satisfying a woman's hypergamy. You could be as tall as Jabrim. That's why I said the 15, 15, 15, and you still could lose the woman because you do not have game. You could be 15 foot tall, still lose the woman if you don't have game. You could have $15 trillion in the bank. You could still lose the woman if you don't have game. You could have 15 inches of wood, and you could still lose the woman if you don't have game. So game is imperative. Again, game is not necessarily, again, playing games. Game is just simply having the skill and the understanding, knowing what to do to satisfy hypergamy. So for example, I'm just going to give you guys an example. A friend of mine, another true player from the Himalayas, we used to go out and hunt all the time. I mean, like I said, I've been rejected at least 10 million times, but I've approached at least 10 trillion women. So, and if it's a numbers game, I got a few of that as well. So don't think the numbers, but it was worth it per se. But anyhow, the moral of the story is, I had a friend of mine, an old time player from the Himalaya. We used to go out, and we used to, hunt, viciously. I mean, with blood in our eyes, we used to go out and hunt. And this guy, he was taller than me. He had more money than me. He was the guy, he had the money, he was always could afford to buy the drinks for the girls and all of that. I didn't even have the money. He was well dressed. He was way more well dressed than me. I mean, the guy had on every single brand name, Versace, Louis Vuitton, you name it, this guy had it on from head to toe. I mean, the guy had on more jewelry, more gold, more diamond. This guy had like at least 1,000 watch and 1,000 chain and 1,000 ring. You know what I'm saying? I talk about gold from head to toe, even down to the mouth. Like I said, more taller than me, had more money than me. His appearance was more immaculate than me. What else I could think of? Money, taller, appearance, all of these things. I'm sure some one or two other things. And like I said, I mean, groom, mustache lined up to the T, head, all tapered, faded, and the list goes on. And guess what? When we went out, I put in the least amount of effort, and who was the one who got the most attractive girls out the deal? Me. I always told this guy, pimping can't be on you, pimping have to be in you. Yes, it is a very, you use your appearance, and you use your vanity and your things of that sort to attract the women to get one foot in the door. But again, if you do not have the right approach, you do not know what to say or whatever the case. And he had mouthpiece too. He had a mouthpiece, but his standard was extremely low. His standard, and I was trying to help him to build his standard up, but his standards was low, very, very low. He would always go for the bottom of the barrel, shooting at, nines. I would shoot for nines. I would say nines. His thing was the lower the better, because the lower, the lower the value, he think that he stood a better chance. And that is true to some degree. If you go low, you stand a chance. But again, that is not the case if you're an alpha male. That is not what you want to do. Again, my boy was, like I said, taller than me, had more money than me, dressed 1,000 times better than me, more groomed than me. I mean, like I said, bad, not bad, but mustache like lined up, pencil type, hair faded and groomed and money in the pocket. But I still had a higher standard than him. I still, at the end of the day, got more quality women than him. I, at the end of the day, got more numbers than him. I, at the end of the day, rejected more women than him. I was the one who was trying to help him to build his game up and help him to understand what game is all about, and to try help him elevate his standards. Because how could that be possible? How could a man have all of these things and a man that shows lesser qualities actually get more better results? Because my attitude was, I knew that I had some other traits. I had secret weapons, if I may say. I had game. I had more confidence. I had more experience than him getting women. He may have had all of the accessories needed, but he did not have the experience as me. That is why they say, it is, if you could get 110, you could get another one again. You understand me? If you have no women, it's very difficult to get one woman. If you have two women, it's easier to get three women. And if you have three women, it's easier to get four women. But if you have no women, God be with you. It is almost next to impossible to get a woman if you do not have a woman, because your attitude is going to be feisty. You're going to approach women from a needy perspective. But when men who have the mindset of abundance, they do not approach women from this needy, I want you, I need you, baby, this or that. I am trying to buy you and I'm trying to impress you with this and that. That is why when you reach a certain level in game, guys who have a solid rotation, you can go down to 3, even 2 per se. Some guys stop at 2, but it's almost detrimental to go to 1, unless, some guys go to 1, but you have to have a big, strong purpose. You have to be, after your goals and dreams. You can't, give the woman all your time and all. I'm not saying it's impossible, but however, you still have to actually have game if you go down to 1. But however, if you have none, it's almost impossible. You can't get 1 because you don't have the same vibration, the same energy, because women want men who other women want. That is why women have a particular standard, because they don't just want you to look a certain way for themselves. They want to show you off to their friends. They want you to look a certain way for other women as well. They want to impress other women. It's not just all about them. It's about other women. That is what women really try to, why they pick the men they pick and why they choose the men they choose based on looks and status and so forth, because they want to say, hey, look at my man, look at what my man does, and so forth and so forth. That is why men have women based on youth and so forth as eye candy. Women also have men that they use for eye candy based on standards and their status and their fame and recognition in society and so forth and so on. But again, the story, like I said, with my friend, that is a perfect example to show you guys looks, your appearance, how groomed you are. All of those things are very important. However, if you do not have game and you do not have confidence, that is why I said in 1 or 2 of my videos, I believe I could pull a bitch in a garbage bag. That's what I believe, because my game is impeccable to that degree. And I understand hypergamy, I understand what is needed, so therefore I can do it as well. So who needs game? Everyone. Whether you're single, whether you're married, whether you have rotation, everyone needs game. But again, that is why, like I was saying, if you have gotten to the point where you have a solid rotation, you have a purpose, you don't need anything from a woman, you don't want anything, you're not thirsty, and then you are at your best, you are the most attractive to a woman, and that is the reason women are able to diss you and reject you, because they feel that they are beneath you, point blank. They do not see any value in you. You do not turn them on. They do not see any worth in you. That is why women are able to just reject men at the drop of a dime. And that is what we need to do as well. We need to be able to walk away from women as soon as a woman does not meet a particular criteria, a particular standard. We need to do that as well. And which reminds me, I'm going to end this video very soon because it's been a very long video. But the attitude you have to have. I remember hearing a story. I think it was Tristan Tate. I think it was Tristan Tate. Just to give you guys an understanding of what an abundance mindset looks like. I remember hearing a story. Tristan Tate, he was being interviewed. And again, these guys, don't get me wrong, they're not exempt from hypergamy as well. Let them try to be, go back and be soft and mushy and I love you this, and let them try to go and try to be just, giving a woman all the validation and all the praise and the glory and putting women on a pedestal. They will lose their position as well. Hypergamy is exempt from no one. Not one single man on the planet can escape from hypergamy. So just because I'm using these guys as an example, I'm saying that these guys are famous. Most people know who the Tate brothers are, and most people know these guys for being, considered chauvinist male, so forth and so on. But again, like I said, I remember hearing a story. He was being interviewed. He was being interviewed by some guy, and some guy told him about. He was telling some guy a story about him having 3 girls in a bed at one time, and something went wrong. I can't remember what he said happened, but for some reason the girls got a little. There was some disturbance. The girls got angry about something. They got mad, and they, it was a discrepancy between them. I can't remember what the story was, why he said it happened, but either way, these 3 girls was in a bed with him, and then they got upset for some reason, one reason or another. And what he was trying to say, he was giving you guys example of what a beta versus a beta male versus an alpha male. And in most cases, when let's say you're a married man, or you have a girlfriend and you live with your girlfriend in the house, and let's say you do something wrong, and what happens is, they say the man get puts in the doghouse. The man goes in the doghouse. He has to sleep on the couch, and he has to go to be by himself. He sleeps on the couch, and the woman takes the bedroom, and the woman sleeps in the bed. And that is the way it normally goes in the normal world, in the real world. But what Tristan Tate was saying in his story, these women had some type of discrepancy. I can't remember why again. But what he did was, rather than, him walking away and then, going and leaving the women, and him going to the couch, despite the fact he was the one who made the problem, he was the one who created the problem, he told the women, hey, you guys need to leave. He kicked the 3 girls out and put them inside the bedroom, outside of the bedroom, and tell them go stay in the couch. And after a period of time, he told them to actually work it out and make things happen, and that is what he did. He told the women to go in the living room and sit on the couch. So again, in most cases, 99.9% of the situations, men would be the one being placed and sent to the couch. Most men do not send the woman to sleep on the couch. Most men are sent to the couch. And that is what I'm saying, the difference between an abundance mindset, an alpha male mindset, versus a simp trick mindset. And for the most part, most men are never going to be in a situation to be in the bedroom with 3 women at the same time. And that is my point. How could this man do this? It's because of the sexual market value. And when you guys develop the sexual market value, you could be able to do this as well. The reason you can't get a threesome or have a menage a trois, you cannot do it, is because your girl does not see the value in you. She does not see you in that light. And the only way most men are able to get a woman to allow them to sleep with another woman willingly is because that woman is afraid to lose the man. In most cases, that is why, and the only reason women would allow you to have a side dish or have a second wife or whatever the case may be, is because she feels that if she doesn't give you what you want, you will actually move on. So that is what I'm saying. However, game is not optional for no one. No man is exempt from game. No man can live That's why the Bible says man cannot live with bread alone. And what I'm saying to you guys, players cannot live by bread alone. So with that being said, I thank you guys so much as usual. Please go ahead, like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate you guys sticking around this long, watching all my videos and so forth and so forth. And as usual, if you all, please, 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 please stop believing in delusions, illusions, and hallucinations. Triple P, and I'm out.
Oh.